up, grab your cereal bowl, pour some milk, let the cartoons roll. Every week it's a brand new show on Resolute Germs channel. Let's go! From zany laughs to heroic feats, villains, toasters, and robot beats. It's the weekend vibe, you know the deal. Cartoon dreams that feel so real. It's Saturday morning, the fun begins on Resolute Germs, where nostalgia wins. Every week it's a different surprise, adventure and laughter before your eyes. Old school classics and fresh new finds, characters that'll blow your mind. Heroes, monsters, the goofy, the bold, timeless stories never grow old. Super spy spaceships in flight, wacky antics till the noonday light. No repeats, it's always brand new. Saturdays for cartoons, and we're here with you. It's Saturday morning, the fun begins on Resolute Germs, where nostalgia wins. Every week it's a different surprise, adventure and laughter before your eyes. Gather with friends or chill solo, the chat's alive with that cartoon glow. Every frame's a portal in time, let's relive the magic with the rhythm and rhyme. So tune in, don't hit snooze. Resolute Germs got the shows to choose. Saturday mornings, the cartoons call. Join the party, we're having a ball. Hey, Resolute Germs, Saturday morning cartoons. Where every week the fun's brand new. You said, mention some cartoons in the song. ChatGPT said, ChatGPT, Saturday morning cartoons. A theme song for Resolute Germs Watch Party, with laughter before your eyes. You said, mention some cartoons in the song. ChatGPT said, ChatGPT, Saturday morning cartoons. A theme song for Resolute Germs Watch Party. Wake up, grab a cereal bowl, pour some milk.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons. Today we got a 90s favorite, Taz Mania. The Tasmanian Devil finally gets his own TV show. And good morning, LDG. And I am realizing now I did not put any of these links in the chat. So let me take care of that. Hey, good morning, Eric Saunders. Can't even spell watch. Okay, the Cosme is in the pinned comment. Let's get this started. This is from 1991.
Hey. Good morning. I was just listening to some Kanye as a historical reference for the fall of society. His music really sucks.
Oh yeah.
I was shocked. He in one of the songs he sampled a Beatles tune. It was Strawberry Fields. It was like just the whole song with him rapping about how he'll always be with Kim over it. And I'm like, well, that didn't work out too good. And it sucks. Hi, Arabic. Today we're watching a cartoon called Taz Mania. Now there's a light sensitivity warning, a violence warning, and a cigarette smoking warning. I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Now we all know Taz Mania.
They are very Australian for Tasmanians.
This is still a Looney Tunes production. When Hollywood sends us the Tasmanian Devils, they're not sending their best anymore. They're sending this new Tasmanian Devil, who's kind of an animaniac, if I'm correct. Correct? Is it the
No,
Animaniacs version of the Devil? This is classic.
This is classic Taz.
Beelzebub himself. So we're gonna see are we gonna be watching 1940s Warner Brothers style cartoons here?
This is more of a sitcom for Taz.
When was this made?
1991,
90s, right? I thought so. Yeah, I have watched this show. I am familiar with it. I haven't watched a lot of it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, this is where we get to meet Taz's family.
The animation still looks like its classic style from the 60s and 70s. I don't know if they updated it. There's sort of a Warner Brothers look to it.
Yeah.
Look at the far background. What the hell is that? Those purple shapes.
Yeah, it's meant to be a little bit on the weird side.
Not to mention that this is Pinky and the Brain right here.
Oh yeah, it was made at the same time.
Well, I think the voice is Pinky outright. By the way, YouTube's changed their interface just a tiny bit when you go searching for stuff now.
Oh yeah.
It looks a little different. Nothing has changed in functionality. It still works, but yeah, it looks a little different.
Come on, they're gators. They should love the water.
By the way, I heard Tom Cotter's talk about the Bugs and Porky movie. I'm sorry, the Daffy and Porky movie.
Oh, that's good.
He said to me, "Sir," he said, "Sir, it's not the fault of Warner Brothers. They sold it to Catch Up Entertainment a year ago, and Catch Up screwed up the release." It apparently has made more than it cost, though. And is TV bound, maybe Tubi.
Yeah, that's good. It's worth something like Tubi.
If it was on something like Tubi, I think if I was the Tubi guy, I would have like a big premiere. Like I'd have a night where I showed it all night long on one channel and just pushed it for like a week before it happened, because the stuff that they said about the movie to build it up is kind of true. Like Warner Brothers #1 comedy duo, the biggest money makers of Warner Brothers, and the most beloved pairing of cartoon characters. It might all be true.
Yeah, it is. And
I didn't realize till I thought about it that I liked Bugs and Daffy, Daffy and Porky together. I didn't realize it, but it's true.
Yeah, it's a shame Warner Brothers had to undercut him.
I think the deal was Warner Brothers is when that movie got done, it had been in the pipeline for the Zaslav takeover, and he was just like, "We can't afford to release nothing. I want Batgirl burned, and unfortunately, this Warner Brothers movie, which is good, this movie, which is good, we just gotta deal with putting it out through Catch Up Entertainment. They'll catch up. The money will catch up to us later."
Yeah. But they didn't hold up their end on the advertisement.
I think they were that. It's starting to look like they're that broke. And Paramount could go under next because the Zaslavs can't close the deal. That deal's not closed yet. Sorry, the Ellisons can't close the deal.
They're held up on government regulations, aren't they?
It's, well, you know, Germ is a strong conservative, so we're not having this conversation out of spite, and I'm not having this conversation out of being glib. From what I understand, Trump is personally pissed off at CBS News, and he pulled a technicality on them to hold it up. And they're going to say they're sorry or stop doing news, or he's not going to let the company be sold. That's what's going around.
Yeah, that'd be pretty hard to do.
Get rid of their news? They're legally prohibited. They have to show news.
They don't have to do anything. They're bankrupt.
If they go out of business, no. But it's the law that if you have an FCC license, you have to transmit some news twice a day. The networks always lost money on the news. It was never a popular thing, and no one liked it. It was after news. Oh, hey LDG, what's up, man? After news only networks started to show up for profit, because the first one, CNN, was a dodge. They were trying to dodge regulation. My headphones are going well. You fixed it. You did it. You pulled it off, LDJ. You were right. I don't know why I have this continued problem, but maybe one day, Saved by Zero, they'll just work all the time. But yeah, there was even an update yesterday, and they still work. Thanks, LDG. LDG's Underground is a good place to go for tech help, and to learn patience. See, this was the weird thing I didn't understand, that sometimes the Tasmanian devil was completely able to speak, and he had like a normal life, or at least his kid did.
Dizzy wasn't his kid, and he can speak a little bit.
I have heard like yikes and stuff like that, yeah. He doesn't speak as well as Scooby-Doo, but he can speak.
Yeah. But Dizzy was only on Tiny Toons.
Which makes him an Animaniac, right?
Animaniac adjacent.
Okay. I know that they did have a big early 90s for these.
I believe the Looney Tunes or the Tiny Toons came out a year or so before Animaniacs, but they were both part of the early '90s Warner push.
And they have a very similar look, and they're animated very similar, and they might have had the same teams. Animaniacs was better than Tiny Toons. Animaniacs was actually really good. I loved Animaniacs. I tried to watch it whenever it was on.
Yeah. Animaniacs was made for network. Network Saturday morning block stuff, so it was a little edgier. Tiny Toons
also very well done.
Yeah. Tiny Toons was explicitly made for Nickelodeon originally.
There's a cosmetic similarity, and there was some cross-pollination. You could be on that. You could show up on Animaniacs if you were a Tiny Toon.
Oh yeah, half the voices were crossed over. They were made same studio.
Favorite Animaniac, Germ?
I was never big on Animaniacs.
What? I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that, Germ.
I was more on Pinky of the Brain side of the show.
Pinky and the Brain was a good show. It was a truly good show. By the way, I think I found my audience, Germ. You may have been right about something. People in California need to be home from work before Admiral Teague can go on the air.
Yeah, that generally helps.
Well, I mean, I think you know this. I'm an East Coast supremacist.
That's okay, you'll learn.
Yeah,
Neither coast is very great, but West Coast is the best coast.
Well, maybe not for rap music, but it's a good coast. Arvik is weighing in on behalf of Pinky as well.
Yeah, Pinky was entertaining. One of the best episodes of that was when Pinky goes to hell. Brain sold Pinky's soul so he could rule the world.
Whoever did the voice of the Brain could have done a Frasier cartoon as well. It sounded just like him. Guess what I'll be doing after this?
What's that?
Working and cutting video till I puke for episode 5 of I should be doing it now, but I came here. Episode 5 of 1923, which wasn't bad, but now the entire story is turning into a huge fucking letdown.
I think they'll recover in the next couple episodes.
There's a few things that are just very clear that would help. Stop stepping away from the villains. We need Timothy Dalton in every one of these last 3 episodes. He has to show up. 2, Liz and Jack, they're either going to make it or they're not. I'm tired of them. 3, Alex, can we compress her story? What will happen to her next week?
Yeah,
I don't
think
know.
They're saving Timothy Dalton for the later episodes because they may have not had access to him as much as they wanted.
He's the straw that stirs the drink. It's amazing they had as much access as they could handle to Harrison and Helen Mirren, but like Timothy Dalton's like, I'm sorry, I'm busy that week. Could you imagine having to call him up on the phone and offer him the role and just be like, I've been reading these lines. I'm not quite happy with them. His voice is so malevolent. When he describes an idyllic winter vacation to those rich guys, tell me it's not the most chilling thing ever. Like, more chilling than his Bond stuff. It's a winter park.
It is pretty good.
His voice is just... was he born to play villains and Bond was just a fluke?
I think he just has that certain British aspect to him that makes him good villains.
Deeply professional. As soon as he gets the role, he starts preparing. He's got a vision for it.
Yeah.
I never feel like I'm watching former James Bond playing a rich guy. I feel like I'm watching evil robber baron Donald Whitfield. Does he feel like they stole him from There Will Be Blood? Yeah. So what? I give the new hooker 1 episode.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely going to go before the end.
Well, Lindy is now bloodthirsty. She might end up taking the fall for everything everybody does.
Oh no, the hookers and Timothy Dalton, they're not surviving the final episode.
Lindy definitely is probably going to die, and Timothy Dalton, if he doesn't die, something pretty bad. There's only one person whose death is mandatory, and that would be Marshall Kent. Marshall Kent's death is mandatory for the story. And I'm really looking forward to it. I
As
hope the Guardians catch him and burn him
much,
alive.
it's mandatory as much as any of that side story is mandatory, which I still don't see why they bothered putting in there.
I have come to a conclusion with that one. I might be wrong. I think the side story, one, it is a good and viable story, but two, it could never ever stand on its own. But three, it serves to put historicity and believability into a story that has a lot of incredible features. That story of what had happened to her at that South Dakota Indian reservation for school is 100% accurate, tracking with dozens and dozens and dozens of diary accounts. And so true that every pontiff since Pope John Paul II has had to go to those places to say, we're really sorry. So it's very true. I think it's there for historical believability.
Maybe, but it still don't have any connection to the main story
It
as of
does if you
yet.
watch Yellowstone. No,
Yeah, her
Tiona's
great
family
great
will have.
grand, yeah, her great great grandson is the guy they sell the Yellowstone to.
I don't even think they sell it. I think he takes it under like land rights because they have to protect it from somebody's going to take it. They
Yeah,
give it to
someone's gonna take it
they
to,
give it to the
and
Guardians so that a third party can't have it. And then like Elvis's family, some of them still live there. I think it's going to be a
yeah,
casino or something.
they have the little homestead on it. They sell the rest of it to the reservation for $1 an acre or something like that. Because there's this other developer, and I believe the state is trying to fuck them out of their land, so they screw over everyone else, help the reservation, and keep their home.
Well, the show that the family we see in the show, 1923, is 1,000 times nicer than the Duttons from the Yellowstone show. They are scumbags.
Hey, you can be forgiven for thinking this show actually takes place in Tasmania. Crocodiles, kangaroos. This has to be Australia.
I was walking down the street yesterday and I saw a dead kangaroo laying on the sidewalk. It was really freaky, and I was like a half a block away. And the closer I got, I was like, "Wow, it's got some blood on it. Someone like off the kangaroo and threw it in the street of Queens." I had to get really close before I saw it was just a cardboard box.
Easy mistake to make.
The way this thing was twisted up and all the markings on it, yeah, it was actually very convincing.
Okay, let's pick another random episode. That was 29.
Now we've seen all your letters, and we just want to let everyone know. Although the hosts of this show are all male, we call women first and ask them what we should show. So this has been girl bossed up. You don't have to worry about us screwing it up. We consulted with women first.
Want to watch 1923, but should I watch Yellowstone first? Oh, no, no need for that, Ervik. Neither of us have actually watched Yellowstone.
I would say the truth is watch them in order. Watch 1880. Watch them in chronological order. Watch 1883. It's only 10 episodes. I think completes the whole series. There's only one season. That tells you the origin. Then watch 1923, which will be over in 3 or 4 more weeks and is not coming back. And then jump into Yellowstone, because the deal is, if you watch Yellowstone first, it pre-spoils 1923 and especially 1883. The fate of like 3 characters is revealed in a flashback.
How had Taz? Eating garbage.
I usually have more to say, but my coffee maker committed seppuku just now.
Oh, poor coffee maker. Oh, that's not going to help.
By the way, Germ, I got some shocking news for everybody. I don't know if it's okay if I share it. Okay, well, I want to thank Anti-Derivative Jill for posting this so that we could all see it. Congratulations, it's been so many years. Comic Relief Crusader has a job. Can you believe that?
Hey, time.
Never say that you're too stupid, too lazy, too ugly, too dumb, or too unemployable. Look at that. He has a job.
No one is unemployable. I've known plenty of people who are too dumb to tie their shoes that can do a simple job.
Well, in this case, we're dealing with a person too dumb to tie their shoes who thinks they're a genius. So it really inhibited the job search, right? It was like holding out for a management position as like a landscaper or whatever the hell he does. But, congratulations. My condolences to your future ex-employer. It's not going to last long. But yeah, Comic Relief Crusader will draw a paycheck. And by draw, I mean get one, because he can't draw for shit. He should be congratulated for his composure, by the way, Germ. Did you notice that all he did was nothing? He didn't YouTube more. He didn't start editing content to expand his base. he just lost 700 subs from ranting about how rough life was and bought a whole bunch more from PJ so he could stay in business. That's YouTubing, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Where you could be a phony with phony subscribers with a bullshit story out there as the mirror ball man selling God while you cry. That's what God needed. Comic Relief Crusader as his salesman. Thank God, now Christianity will finally catch on.
Oh, that flea is oil rigging Taz's ass. Nice going, Taz. Now you're bald and naked. That is a very vindictive flea.
They mentioned fashion, but have you noticed in our world, this world that we live in, the fake bad real one, that for years and years and years, jeans were not allowed to be worn anywhere but like casually. Then for like a shining moment that lasted like a year, jeans were acceptable everywhere. And then boom, the page turned and like the millennial bastards only wear sweats everywhere. So we're back to zero with the jeans.
Yeah, unfortunately, jeans are now in a lot of places considered professional wear. Some of these millennial and Gen Zers, you're lucky if you can get them out of their pajamas.
They walk around wearing sweats. They wear shorts in February. But the thing is, now we can wear jeans to work because, like you said, it's professional wear. The weirdest thing I ever heard is, how come your jeans aren't pressed? To which I said, fuck you, I quit.
Actually, sweatpants are an upgrade from a lot that I've seen. They like pajamas.
Quite honestly, more or less correct. I don't know when they lost their fear of being pantsed. That's why I liked having a belt in high school. But listen, everybody, join me in doing this. I'm going to tag Comic Relief Crusader and congratulate him on the end of, is it 35 months of not working? Really testing that Canadian lifetime unemployment that he said he didn't have when he was crying and begging for money. Remember that?
Oh, that Canadian lifetime unemployment's going away. They can't afford it anymore.
Right, but it hasn't been an issue for him yet. He has had income every week from that lifetime unemployment while he's been busy not working. In fact, it's a real coincidence that that's going to go away and he finally found a job, isn't it?
Yeah.
almost like
Well,
one
maybe we
caused
can
the
get
other.
Scotty to get employment now.
Scotty owns a beer processing plant. It's just that by that he means his own stomach.
Hey, Taz got a job too.
Hey, anybody can do it. Speaking of getting a job, there will be a sabotage job done on my show tonight when the 12-step shit show decloaks off my port bow, like right after I start. That's been a thing lately. A whole bunch of people on step 13 who need to go back and admit to their higher power they're fucking helpless, just badgering me. My favorite thing is when your defense for being a terrible YouTuber is that you're very dedicated to your family, but you're drunk all the time on the air.
Yeah, that happens a lot on YouTube, I've noticed.
I'm like a lot of other people, Jeremy. You might not be aware of this, but did you know that I had parents?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, my father was New York City Police Department. He was a detective, kind of thought of as a hard drinking tough guy job. Wouldn't you know it? He never got drunk during my entire childhood. Like if he did, I didn't see it. He didn't sit around on the weekends drinking beer on his ham radio talking to people or anything like that. If the internet existed, he wouldn't have given a shit about it. He was into being a dad. Weird, right?
Yeah.
You set out to have children, maybe that should be your focus. Not to be a hobbyist who also has children. Like, I think you got the hobby and the life dedication reversed there, Captain Jilly.
I don't know. I think Wile E. Coyote did this cartoon better.
This is basically a retread.
Yeah.
It's also Bugs gets stuck on his way to Pismo Beach. Should we just ignore the timestamp in the corner there? Is that from like British Nickelodeon?
That's from the recording. This never actually came out properly on home release, so the copies out there are ripped off of television.
It's double watermarked. It's got the BBC mark and it's got whatever their watermark is underneath it. And it's a bad watermark because it's pulsing and distracted. But it had the time on it for a while. I got to give them credit for either breaking out their old arrangements or rewriting new versions of their old classic music. This is absolutely unchanged from the earliest Warner Brothers cartoon days.
Yeah.
We've heard No Place Like Home.
They still use the same stuff in what they make today.
Don't change it. Don't put in any electronic instruments. Don't try to modernize it. This works like you wouldn't believe. Just don't mess with it. There's the shortening song from I Love Lucy. It's the song Ethel sings all the time.
Only wear jeans on Fridays. That's
Casual Friday.
Ah.
So you have a more traditional employer.
Oh, poor Taz.
No, I was like 19 before I could get up the nerve to actually wear shorts at all. They had to invent the longer shorts that didn't look as...
Yeah, the 80s were really bad for shorts.
There was one style of shorts that worked out at the jams. They were loud as hell, but they were at least roomy.
Wow, he's dumb. Lucky Taz.
I like how they stuck with the I do this all day sheepdog thing where he takes breaks and got a family at home. He just does this from 9 to 5 every day.
Yeah.
That original cartoon where the wolf and the sheepdog check into work and then they start fighting like viciously. Then at the end they check out and like, well, Dave, see you later.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
Groundbreaking, really, in a lot of ways. I guess we'll just ask which of these characters do you have tattooed across your entire back, Germ? I'm thinking Foghorn Leghorn.
I'll just leave that a mystery.
So there is a cartoon character across your entire back. We're not allowed to know what it is.
Well, there is a character.
Did you ever notice that if you can do an imitation of President Clinton, it can be subbed out without being changed as Foghorn Leghorn? Just have to add "son, I say son" into it.
I never noticed that, but now that I think about it,
Come from a town, son, I say son, boy. I come from a little town called Hope. I'm from a place so backward, people there think 2 and 2 is 4.
well, they couldn't be very smart. They elected Clinton.
We don't know how popular he is in his hometown. That's the poorest town in Arkansas that probably doesn't vote. Bill Clinton was the poorest white man ever to be president of this nation. Bill Clinton had so much less money than Prince. He was like, man, can I borrow 100, Prince? I'll get it back to you, man.
Yeah, and now he's filthy, stinking rich, and all it took was him being president and, well, being less than honest with the country's money.
Well, that depends on what your definition of the word is, but you're probably right, yeah.
Hey, Taz survived his first day.
The friendly rivalry is always it's funny just to see it. It also remember like the show Cops. After like a vicious takedown arrest, the cops are always talking to the person they booked, like their rival football teams. Like, yeah, that was a nice move there. You got your arm around my neck. It's like, yeah, that pistol whipping was something.
Oh, poor Taz has a cold.
Now, I give no medical advice on this one, but yesterday while I was shopping, I was offered a common cold vaccine. Are you kidding me?
Wow, they're getting pretty bold on that scamming.
The common cold seems too much of a medical mystery to be helped out by any sort of vaccine. The other
Well, let's
question I have
teach you
is,
to take a vaccine from a guy with a booth on the corner.
this was inside one of the like mini mart style pharmacies that are very popular. This was a real employee of that actual place. So like, would you like the anti-cold vaccine? And I'm like, you waited until March. It's like 62 degrees. I'm not going to catch another cold.
Yeah, that's brilliant marketing.
Get it now for next year.
Yeah, blockage, kind of like a jack.
I love swapped in Daffy. We got two of them here though.
Yeah, Platypus Brothers.
They're orange. Where are their MAGA hats? They're orange, bro.
Oh, that's going to be very fun. Poor Taz never gets a meal.
If you're just tuning in, guys, Comic Relief Crusader now employed. Comic Relief Crusader is employed. I never thought I'd speak those words, Germ.
Yeah, that's understandable. There was a few years there I thought nobody was going to be employed.
That's when the people who never work must have felt like kings, huh?
Yeah.
I got this sitting around the house broke thing down. There was no work for like 5.5 months, but I got a 2-week paycheck worth of government subsidies. Thanks a lot, guys. That really made a huge freaking difference. And it was late as fuck, too.
Yeah, that's kind of how government checks go. They say they're going to pay you on the 3rd, but it doesn't clear to the 9th.
It was late, and it wasn't as much as they said it would be, but it was a promise from a guy from Queens, so I knew I could count on it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just comes with strings.
They're going to bake the Tasmanian devil.
Jesus Christ, Germ, you're right. These guys are well conceived. You can't tell they're not ducks until you see their whole body and their weird beaver tails.
Yeah.
The duck-billed platypus is like one of their favorite things to make fun of, too. Doesn't it show up in one of those The Animator Gets Even segments with Daffy, where it erases most of Daffy and turns him into a duck-billed platypus for a little while to show him who's boss?
I do think they do that to Daffy at one point, but it's for like 5 seconds.
it was a 12 to 15 minute long cartoon, but it was just nothing but indignities for Daffy because he got loud right away and started talking shit to the animator, and the animator did what the animator sometimes does. He saw the pencil come down and erase the background, and he's like, "Oh no!" And for 20 minutes, the animator just showed him who was boss. It was great. I love those. Bugs had a hard time with it, and Bugs goes back for 4 or 5 bouts of fighting with the animator. Daffy only once or twice, but man, is it funny. Man, is it ever funny.
Yeah, usually the animator in that case turns out to be the opposite, either Bugs or Daffy.
That's accurate a lot. We've also seen the animator shown from behind as a on-film real human. We just see his arms and the back of his chair as he scribbles away. I've seen that one too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be a representation of Chuck Jones.
Once in a while, it's Chuck Jones. I think Jones moves on and has his own animation company after a while. So after that, it's just someone filmed from behind. I would believe is the sequence, but stalwart there. There's probably 12 of those over the course of the Warner Brothers domain. I think even Foghorn Leghorn has to deal with the animator's wrath.
I don't remember Foghorn doing it, but yeah, there is a good number of those episodes. Oh, there's no consistency on time in these episodes.
I do not believe they ever do it to Porky. Yeah, that one was short as hell. They never do it to Porky. Porky never faces the animator. Sylvester, I think, has a bad time with him. I think they get Sylvester.
I'm not entirely sure about that.
I'm not positive. There may have been there may have been
Tweety
one with
Bird
several.
Interacting. I know Daffy and Bugs. I remember Tweety Bird having something similar.
Right. Porky Pig, no. I just don't remember it at all. There may have been one where he dealt with all ancillary characters at once. Like the one with Foghorn Leghorn may also have Yosemite Sam.
Hey, Dave.
It's our pal Dave C. Hello, Dave C. Dave, the Comic Relief Crusader, got a job. Isn't that unbelievable? Dave C's channel's been stalked by the Comic Relief Crusader. I'm sure he was looking for a job while he was there, giving everyone a hard time over a fucking comic book at 1 a.m. Sounded like job-seeking behavior, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave posted an LOL. He knows that's true. I'll be turning into Food Man after this to throw some stuff down the hatch before I edit. I need a dose of cope here, Germ. I'm not, my video's 2 days late. It's only going to get made for the sake of making it. It's not going to do real good. My thought is, even if I had it done on time and perfect, episode 5 sucked and not a lot of people were going to watch it anyway. And that it'll get most of its watching on Thursday before the next episode.
I don't know. If you get it out today or tomorrow, I think that's right in time for the next episode. That's when people are going to catch up.
It seems the lifespan of these is Thursday till Tuesday.
Yeah, right over the weekend when the episode premieres.
And like right after the episode when people watch it to see what the hell they missed or if they missed something.
Yeah. Whenever they watch the premiere episode, they'll watch the review of the episode before it.
I had to redraft my script like 3 times before I read it to get it down from like 16 minutes. So much happens in that boring episode.
Yeah. But you're not going to get a lot of view on Sunday, but being the weekend, I think at least half of the people who are actually watching 1923 don't watch the episode until Monday or Tuesday.
I think most people aren't aware of when the show drops and they check on Monday or Tuesday, exactly. Paramount is doing a terrible fucking job. There's no 1923 billboards in Manhattan. What's that about?
They may not be able to afford it.
Which is sad because what we have now is, I think you agree with me on this one, possibly the best TV creator of this decade being buried on a moribund network. Am I right?
Yeah, but best creator of this decade, that's not really a high bar. Let's face it, Kurtzman's
I agree
on that list.
You know what? Here's the thing, though. This guy would have been a very good creator in the 70s or 80s, too. He's just plain old-fashioned interesting.
Yeah.
We have been really down on the last 2 episodes, maybe 3, of 1923. The thing is that they break any matrix to rate Star Trek, Star Wars, or Disney MCU. Every single episode, including the last one where some people thought it was a C, is like 60 to 75 times better, more interesting, and more well-made than the best episode of The Mandalorian. I'm talking The Rescue. Am I right?
Well, yeah, it's definitely better made than The Mandalorian, and Mandalorian is probably a C overall. But they're just then too inconsistent.
It's all over the place, and a lot of it's hot fucking garbage. I would say if you want to give an episode of The Mandalorian a C, you're talking about one of the top 5 episodes of the whole run. Like, you're talking The Rescue is like a C+. That's the best they ever did.
Oh, no. The first 2 seasons are pretty good. I'd average those out to maybe a B-.
I think season 1 gets lost after episode 5.
That's the third season.
Season 3 is a complete minus. It's not even in positive territory, but I'll be honest with you. I think that season 1 gets lost a few times. I think there's 3 forgettable episodes, especially the dumbest thing they ever made, Bomb Bantha. Remember that shit?
Oh, yeah, the crate dragon one. But half of the problems with at least the second and third season of Mandalorian, I blame that entirely on Pedro Pascal because he was actively trying to leave the show before his contract was up. And then all of a sudden, when they started giving...
why would you want to leave that lucrative voice acting job? He's never in the suit, except when you see his face.
Because he's a moron. He wanted his face on TV.
He is fucking retarded. There was a way to work that one out without being militant, too. It's like, can I get a second face time every season instead of just one? And they would have said yes.
Yeah.
But no, he had to go out there with an idea to fundamentally change their only working show. Because he is a real idiot. Pedro Pascal, guys, is an idiot.
Yeah. But you notice the second they started giving Gina Carano and what's her name more screen time, he started getting in line because they were actively shifting the show to them because he kept saying he was quitting.
Are you talking Katie Sackhoff and
yeah,
for a little while, Gina?
Yeah, because their plan was the Mandalorian in the show Mandalorian was going to become Katie Sackhoff because Pedro was being a jackass and threatening to walk off. So
you can't walk off what you don't do. He's the Mandalorian that we're most familiar with is John Wayne's grandson.
Yeah, but him saying kept bitching and saying he's quitting. They're going to make Sackhoff the Mandalorian, and that's why people got so upset that they're making the woman the Mandalorian.
I saw that one coming. I saw that one coming.
Yeah, but you got to remember that's literally all Pedro's fault.
Now, this was one of the things I would call it scolded for saying by Paulie Latino Slant, was that he was saying he believes that Jon Favreau is going to be able to save Star Wars and Disney. And I said, you're talking about a man whose name is on 35 straight horrible stories. And he took like an angry tact on that one, as though I was being like technical. That's like that you couldn't count all 20 episodes of The Mandalorian that he wrote that are horrible. Like that's somehow just one writing credit. No, his name's on 25 to 35 absolutely horrible stories. And you can take that back to Iron Man 3. You watch that fucking movie. I'm not watching it.
That is a horrible movie. I wouldn't say
what's good about it that Gina Carano's in it. What's the good thing that Gina Carano's in it? No, I'm saying from the end of Mandalorian season 1, we've got all season 2 is terrible. Which backdoor pilot after backdoor pilot, so that's 10, right? That's 10 bad episodes in a row. Book of Boba Fett, that's another 10. They did cut 2 of them, but the 2 Mandalorian episodes stuck in there, they were bad too. So 18, season 3 Mandalorian 28, Iron Man 3 29. Where do you pull your head up out of the toilet to take a breath? You're drowning on toilet water with Jon Favreau. He actually sucks. But what is the point of every episode of The Mandalorian that we've seen that is so-called good? That he has a problem he can't solve, and at the end he solves it by using the Mandalorian suit? That's called having the same fucking story every week and an overpowered character. He's a Gary Stu, The Mandalorian. He sucks. That movie's going to fail.
I still don't believe they're going to actually get to the point of that movie premiering.
That would, in my book, count as failing, but I tend to think that there's a high chance you're correct. A very, very high chance. Do you believe that Disney announces movies just to cancel them so their stock will stabilize?
Yeah, you'd think that'd be illegal.
They're doing it in a way that keeps it from being illegal. It's not illegal if you keep on making a mistake, because it's just not against the law to be bad at doing business. That's the justification for this mess that they've gotten themselves into. And I got to admit, legally, it's fairly brilliant. It's like we're so bad at this, we can't be held accountable.
And, float your stock.
It's an unprovable false statement because you're allowed to overestimate yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And for anybody who's ever encountered it in the real world, its more common form is bad contractor. You have a bad contractor, he comes, he does an estimate, he shows up, he tears out the side of your house, and you never see him again.
Oh, Taz, this is your life. Wow, that's not going to go well for Taz.
Germ, what the hell am I going to do tonight with episode Singularity? It's fucking terrible.
I don't remember that episode offhand.
They pass by a black hole. It gives the entire crew except T'Pol extreme OCD till they pass out.
It's not gonna go well.
There's a Deep Space Nine episode that's exactly like it. But remember the one where Trip obsesses for the entire episode on rebuilding the captain's chair?
Oh yeah, that one is weird.
The good news is it's partially successful. They wanted it to be weird, and they managed to pull it off, and it's enjoyable in a weird way. But the other part of the episode where it was like you wanted to care about what was going on or you invested in it, not as much, right?
Yeah.
My thought was, wow, a lot of our crew are very good actors acting crazy, but this story sucks. I was like impressed. I was like, wow, Connor Trinier is an okay actor. He played crazy well. He did a good job. Anthony Montgomery is a decent actor in this one. That's Anthony Montgomery is Reed, right? Or is that Gayweather?
I'm forget
I
her
might
name
be
offhand.
I might be mashing two people's names together. Mr. Reed is an okay actor. Mr. Mayweather sucks. His acting improved a little bit, but not. It's not acceptable yet. You can see the inflection point where he was forced to get acting lessons, and you can see the acting lessons being tested here and there, and the acting ability slightly kicking in. I just don't think he gets far enough fast enough for the character to do anything. His next moment in the sun will be the episode Horizon, which is like a season away. And he's better, but he still sucks, if I remember correctly.
They do get better as the series goes along. They did start off kind of rough, especially Reed and Mayweather.
Jolene Blaylock is better than we think she should be right away, but she's not great. Hoshi is like the
she's
anchor
not
one.
meant to be great.
Hoshi and Archer sort of pull their weight on the first season. They're the biggest, strongest performers.
Yeah, and let's face it, Jolene Blaylock, her role isn't great acting. It's
No,
the
it's
water
fucking
brawl.
beautiful. Thank God they gave up on that and let their beautiful actress look like herself. That was always a stupid move. Too many women have told me that she, being so weird to behold, talked them out of staying with the show, that it has to be regarded as a mistake. Like, we have no illusions. Many mistakes were made on Enterprise.
Yeah, it was the 2000s, so there's a lot of mistakes being made at that time.
They were ordered to fix and change things. Sometimes we're fixing and changing things for the sake of keeping our boss off our back, and it makes no sense. Only way I can think of to put it. This one's heavily weird.
Yeah, it's this is your life, Taz.
This episode is hardcore living in its own weirdness.
He has a great approach to education.
Agreed. It's a bold plan, Germ. Let's see how it works out for them.
I think Taz is going to have some gator meat. Oh, that's going to give him a sour stomach. At least they found the right way out. Tez has not the best family and friends. And that's why you don't see This Is Your Life on TV anymore.
You got to ask yourself if they just straight up told people first that the show about their life was happening so they didn't freak out too much. It's like, your ex-wife. It's like, I fucking hate you.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people pissed off after being on that show.
You're open to being
Kind of like that
punked.
Cheaters. Yeah. It's kind of like that
You're open to
Cheaters
being punked.
show where the host was probably 1 in 5 of getting his ass kicked every day.
Wow, I don't remember that show. I will say, we've seen it all in reality TV.
Yeah, that show ended after the moron broke the news to some guy that his wife was cheating, and they were on a small boat together. Was just a cameraman and a wife, and just say he left that boat with a couple of extra holes. For some reason, the insurance didn't want to cover him after that.
So we're saying his wife cheated on him with the cameraman. There's no two ways about it.
I don't know about that, but that moron went on a boat with a guy who just got cheated on and no security.
So he vandalized it.
Yeah, with 9mm. It's nice that they don't BS you with some random stuff that they just have to make up to fill the time. Oh, those are horrible. Now he needs another quarter to get out. Yeah. You don't see an orange bowling ball every day. They just gave Taz his uncle a nuclear bomb. Yeah, that'd be very explosive. What type of bowlers are they? They have to rent shoes.
Good point there, Germ. You'd figure they'd pack the gear and own the bag.
Yeah. Personally, my bowling shoes and ball are always in my trunk.
I was not aware of this passion of yours.
Well, you got to be prepared for every situation.
So it's less about personal passion and it's more because you paid attention to the Flintstones.
Exactly. They did a good job tricking out that car for 3 minutes. Well, at least Taz gets to fly before he plummets to his doom. And Taz, I didn't know you had your pilot's license.
How do you put it? They're pushing but not breaking that fourth wall?
Yeah. They're doing a really good job balancing it.
This is quality viewing, and I'm going to say my opinion is that time, not money was the problem. It seems like it's well funded. They're just crunching it. A lot of work to get done.
Yeah, They knew exactly what they were doing going in. They made the 65 episodes of it and had no intention of ever doing more.
And this feeds right into all your existing merchandising and toy lines. If something on this caught fire, they could have made a toy. I don't know if they did. There probably was a toy or two from this.
Oh, yeah, they had Tasmanian toys all along. It was just another way to push that merch.
Is he your most popular silent character? I guess he is. He's more popular than the Jekyll and Hyde monster.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And bowling's enjoying like a popularity comeback as sort of like a niche sport for weirdos because Kingpin is out the year that this comes out, and a few years later we get Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah, bowling at this time, it was actually getting TV time.
Yeah, it's a renaissance. If they had had a golden age in the first place, if there had been a golden age before that, the 90s supplanted it as their most successful time.
Yeah. As far as hard dollars go, the 90s were the best time for the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, they're making money left and right, and they haven't screwed themselves up with stupid stuff yet. Things like going good. They're gearing up for or having that movie with every NBA player who knew how to stay out of jail, the Michael Jordan one.
Yeah. Space Jam. That was a year after the show ended.
They stayed away from Rodman in that movie, even though he wasn't known as crazy yet, right? He's not in Space Jam.
Oh, he wasn't allowed anywhere near it.
The craziest person associated with Space Jam is Charles Barkley. Am I right? And Charles Barkley's pretty insane. So. Yep. Charles Barkley is actually pretty insane. People might not know that. He covers for it really well, and he's extremely intelligent. But I don't know, Germ, how many people has Charles Barkley thrown through a plate glass window?
Not many, just 2, 3.
That we know of. Yeah. Charles Barkley. Remember that one game where the arena wasn't set up correctly and like water started shooting out onto the floor at the beginning of the game, and like it went on for like a couple hours before they called it off? His famous quote, "Everybody could see that this couldn't be fixed. I could have had a fucking six-pack in me." I think my favorite Charles Barkley quote, and you'll probably like this one too, is, you ready for this one, Germ? "I love New York. I have a gun."
Well, you need a gun in New York.
If you have a permit,
actually,
go ahead.
You probably use something along the lines of a tank in New York.
Depends where you are. Around here, I could get by with just like one of those riot shields and like a Glock. The whole time I've been on here, one of the most reliable axes of attack against me has been, is a terrible human being from a really bad neighborhood. To which I respond, and I'm still alive. Why would you want to come at me?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Like this 40 plus year old man who comes from this absolutely brutal environment that he's lived in. If only there was someone well known who was also from Jamaica, Queens, who is known for tweeting and being outspoken, the country would have some context. But gee, I can't think of nobody.
No.
Maybe it's my boy Lamar Odom.
Maybe. There is a certain orange fellow I remember coming from there too.
Every time I research celebrities from Jamaica, Queens, the list has like been added to. I didn't realize Mary J. Blige. Rufus King, signatory of the U.S. Constitution, and this guy named Trump. But people seem to think that I'll be bad, and so that I won't be able to put a demeaning nickname on them and destroy the credibility. People who go around identifying as being big fans of this person who missed that fact and came after me have to be called out as being absolutely phony. They knew nothing about the guy if they thought they were going to come after me and win.
Yeah, the ball's going nuclear. And I think that's going to be our last cartoon for the day. Very enjoyable show. It's a shame they didn't make more of it.
This was a win. It was good all around.
And I think next week we will get to Star Trek the Animated Series. The good one from the 70s, not that crap they made a few years ago. But Teague, what you got coming up? Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Dave. We're here every week. Teague, what you got going on later?
Oh, I got Enterprise episode Singularity tonight at 9:30 Eastern time on my Star Trek show.
Sounds good. Thanks for stopping by, everybody.
Sorry. Also, look for my 1923 video dropping at some point later today. But yeah, thanks everybody. Great show. Germ, thanks for having me.
Glad you can be here. Take care, everybody. See you next week.